Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin Baldoni. Ryan Reynolds is now abusing his wife. That's scary. That's narcissism.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively once seemed like Hollywood's perfect golden couple. Effortlessly glamorous, endlessly charming, and always ready with a quip. Yet recent whispers suggest their picture-perfect facade hides a storm of control issues, hidden feelings, and unexpected revelations about who they really are behind the scenes. Was there a deeper connection between Blake Lively and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni that sparked Ryan's explosive reaction? And what if the rumors of secret desires and buried insecurities are more than mere tabloid chatter? These questions have set the internet ablaze, with new details emerging every day. Some fans argue this is just a Hollywood soap opera blown out of proportion, while others insist it points to real cracks in a carefully curated image. One thing's certain, these revelations are leaving everyone in shock, and the story might be even bigger than we imagined. But how did we get here, and why is everyone talking about a lawsuit, a so-called emotional affair, and Ryan's sudden meltdown? Buckle up! We're about to lift the curtain on a tale of alleged betrayal, hidden motives, and a power struggle that no one saw coming.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give them that family image?
From the outside, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively had it all. The media hailed them as relationship goals, praising their red carpet chemistry, loving banter, and fun social media pranks. They'd appear together at premieres or charity events, looking impossibly happy, arms around each other, with fans convinced they were living a real-life fairy tale. Behind that polished image, subtle signs hinted that the magic might not run as deep as it seemed. Insiders whispered about tension and control issues. Allegedly, Ryan had a habit of micromanaging everything from Blake's work schedules to her public statements. At first, these whispers seemed like the usual rumor mill that targets any famous couple. After all, it's Hollywood. Rumors spring up every day. But something about the tone of these stories felt different. Then small details started piling up. Interviews showed Blake occasionally bristling at Ryan's jokes, or him offering supportive words that sounded a little too prepackaged, more like a well-rehearsed routine. Off-camera, acquaintances noted Blake's quiet discomfort whenever Ryan steered conversations to his personal projects. None of it felt scandalous on its own, but the mood around them hinted at cracks in the power couple story. It wasn't until allegations of an emotional affair with Justin Baldoni bubbled to the surface that people realized there was far more going on than petty squabbles. The glimpses of tension turned into an uproar of speculation. Was Ryan's friendly, comedic public persona hiding something darker? Had Blake finally grown tired of playing the supportive wife while her own needs went unfulfilled? Little did anyone know, those murmurings were about to explode into a legal and emotional battlefield. Enter Justin Baldoni, actor and director, and the man caught in the middle of this media firestorm. Baldoni worked alongside Blake Lively on the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. They were spotted sharing easy laughter during breaks, glancing at each other in ways that raised eyebrows among onlookers. At first, it seemed innocent. Co-stars often form tight bonds due to long hours on set, but rumors quickly spread that Blake was developing feelings for Baldoni that went beyond the script. Whispers of flirty banter, late-night conversations, and an unmistakable chemistry swirled in the background. Paparazzi snapped photos that showed them chatting in hushed tones or giving each other lingering smiles. Some fans wrote it off as typical Hollywood hype. Others saw it as evidence of real sparks flying, especially given how subdued Blake often looked when Ryan wasn't around. Then a bombshell dropped. A legal filing involving claims of sexual misconduct, allegations that Blake had felt uncomfortable, and countersuits insisting these accusations were fabricated or inflated. While the headlines focused on the harassment angle, certain insiders hinted the lawsuit might not be about misconduct at all. Instead, they suggested it was Ryan's attempt to squash any narrative that pointed to an emotional affair between Blake and Baldoni. Suddenly, the drama intensified. Media outlets seized on every detail. Were Blake and Baldoni truly entangled in a secret relationship? How much did Ryan know, and when? And most pressing of all, why was Ryan so determined to control the entire story?
What we are observing is essentially a ticking time bomb, a timer on Ryan Reynolds' ego.
Ryan Reynolds has built his brand on a breezy, sarcastic charm that wins over fans and critics alike. Yet behind that endless wit, many now believe he harbors insecurities that have festered for years. The shift from cool comedic actor to obsessive husband caught people off guard, but those closer to the couple say it shouldn't have been a surprise. According to various sources, Ryan's meltdown began the moment he learned Blake's connection to Baldoni might not just be professional. He reportedly found text exchanges between them that, while not explicitly romantic, felt emotionally charged in a way that rattled him. Instead of talking it out privately, Ryan allegedly went into damage control mode. The man known for comedic timing and big screen antics was suddenly micromanaging Blake's public appearances, pushing for lawsuits and fueling a behind-the-scenes campaign to paint Baldoni as a villain. All the while, fans wondered, why so extreme? If Ryan and Blake's marriage was stable, would a close friendship with a co-star really send him into a tailspin? Some attribute it to the precarious image he's built. The devoted husband, the doting father, the unstoppable force in Hollywood. Even a hint of real marital trouble could crack that perfect reflection he spent years polishing. Insiders even claim that Ryan's reaction wasn't just about protecting a brand, it was about controlling the narrative. By framing Baldoni as a threat, Ryan could redirect any blame away from himself. Yet with each legal maneuver and dramatic headline, he risked exposing more personal details. Before long, the meltdown stories overshadowed everything else, leading fans to question whether the real issue was a spouse's innocent emotional bond, or Ryan's desperate need to keep his facade intact. As rumors about Blake's emotional affair escalated, the legal battle took on a life of its own. Blake filed a complaint suggesting Baldoni had crossed boundaries, but Baldoni's counterclaim argued it was all a smokescreen. The real goal was to undermine him after he supposedly got too close to Blake. Media outlets pounced, each retelling of events more sensational than the last. Then Candace Owens stepped into the mix. Known for her unfiltered takes, she insisted that Ryan Reynolds was the real architect of the lawsuit, pulling strings to maintain dominance and punish both Baldoni and Blake for the perceived betrayal. In her view, the harassment narrative served primarily to keep the tabloids focused on Baldoni's alleged wrongdoing. Meanwhile, Ryan's motivations were never fully questioned. Owens also highlighted how Ryan's legal muscle exerted pressure on journalists to run stories favoring him. She pointed to suspiciously timed articles that echoed Ryan's stance without giving Baldoni a fair chance to respond. The notion that Ryan might be orchestrating a media smear campaign sparked debate among fans. Was he truly that ruthless? Or was Owens simply leveraging a hot topic to boost her own profile? Regardless, her commentary opened a new chapter in this ever-growing saga. What if Blake's harassment claims were less about actual threats and more about Ryan ensuring that any storyline painting him as insecure or controlling got buried under bigger headlines? It was a startling theory, but the more onlookers dug, the more plausible it seemed.
Is Blake Lively has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone.
Just when people thought they had a handle on the love triangle, another angle emerged. Ryan's unusually affectionate friendship with Hugh Jackman. They'd always been playful rivals in the public eye, cracking jokes, trolling each other on social media, but fans began noticing that Ryan spoke about Hugh with a warmth and admiration he rarely showed toward Blake. He called Hugh a true gentleman and one of the best people he'd ever met. Their lighthearted banter at events occasionally took on an almost flirtatious vibe, complete with joking attempts to kiss on camera. On its own, this might have been passed off as comedic showmanship, but compared to Ryan's colder, more detached interactions with Blake, it stood out. Soon, speculation flared. Could Ryan be struggling with deeper personal truths? Was the unwavering adoration for Hugh part of an emotional outlet he didn't feel comfortable expressing elsewhere? Adding to the whispers, longtime rumors have surrounded Hugh Jackman's private life, though he's consistently brushed them aside. Now people are revisiting those old murmurs and wondering if Ryan's hyper-focused meltdown toward Blake's involvement with Baldoni was actually tied to unresolved questions about his own desires. Whether the Hugh Jackman connection signals anything concrete or simply highlights Ryan's inconsistent behavior, it does cast his marriage to Blake in a different light. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces don't quite fit the old narrative of Ryan as the perfect spouse, overshadowed by an unfaithful partner. While much of the blame and speculation has targeted Ryan, it's crucial to examine Blake's own history. This isn't the first time she's been linked closely, perhaps too closely, to a co-star. Years ago, people noticed her on-set chemistry with Ben Affleck during The Town, and many still remember her real-life romance with Penn Badgley, a relationship that blossomed during Gossip Girl. Some speculate Blake repeatedly formed strong attachments in these high-intensity work environments. Spending months acting out romantic scenes can blur the lines between performance and genuine emotion. Critics argue she's simply prone to falling for the men she shares a spotlight with, citing consistent patterns across her filmography and personal life. Yet the connection with Baldoni strikes a nerve unlike the earlier examples. Maybe it's because Blake is older now, or perhaps the stakes are higher with a full-fledged marriage and children on the line. Or maybe the intensity of that emotional bond signaled a deeper dissatisfaction in her relationship with Ryan. One key point stands out. Blake's not an innocent bystander. While Ryan's alleged control tactics are alarming, it's also hard to ignore that Blake willingly engaged in a bond with Baldoni that crossed typical co-star boundaries. If she truly felt endangered by Baldoni, why were they photographed laughing together off set? Why were there apparently warm text exchanges? Some sources claim Blake pivoted to harassment allegations only after Ryan discovered the connection and demanded a course of action. Regardless of which version you believe, the message is clear. Both husband and wife have played major roles in setting this emotional time bomb.
Has happened to her. She has, been in love with Penn Badgley from, Gossip Girl, then she got with Ryan Reynolds.
Candace Owens hasn't minced words about who she thinks bears ultimate responsibility. She insists Ryan is orchestrating the entire fiasco, from the press coverage to the legal angles, to punish Baldoni for stealing Blake's affection. At the same time, she also portrays Blake as far from helpless. In Owen's view, Blake made her choices and now faces the fallout of a marriage built on image rather than true connection. Adding another layer is the persistent rumor that Blake might be acting as Ryan's beard, the public spouse who helps maintain an impression of heterosexual stability while Ryan privately grapples with his real identity. It's a controversial theory, but it keeps resurfacing in online discussions. Whether or not there's truth to it, the idea has struck a chord, feeding speculation that Ryan's meltdown stems from deeper internal conflicts about who he truly is and how he wants the world to see him. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni finds himself caught in the crossfire. Reports suggest Ryan's legal actions have significantly impacted Baldoni's reputation, potentially derailing future projects. Owens points to behind-the-scenes stories of phone calls made to major studios, urging them to steer clear of Baldoni. If this is accurate, it reveals a merciless side to Ryan's approach, as though he's determined to erase any threat to his marriage, or at least his public image of one. So where does all of this leave Blake? She might be more aware of Ryan's hidden motives than she lets on, or she might simply be a woman who fell emotionally for another man. Yet Owens argues that Blake's attempt to claim sexual harassment was never about justice. Rather, it was a desperate bid to align with Ryan's demands and keep her own secrets buried. In the end, this entire saga raises one glaring question. How much of our favorite Hollywood stories are real, and how much are constructed to feed our thirst for glamour and intrigue? Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were once the definition of couple goals, so intertwined with each other's public personas that few would have guessed something dark was brewing beneath the surface. Now, the shiny exterior has been stripped away, replaced by swirling rumors of emotional affairs, legal power plays, and potential hidden desires. The deeper we dive, the more complicated it becomes. Was Blake truly a victim of controlling behavior, or did she set the stage by stepping into an emotional relationship with Justin Baldoni? Is Ryan's meltdown about protecting his family, or about clinging to a public image that no longer fits who he really is? And is Baldoni just an innocent bystander trapped in an all-out war between two powerful Hollywood players, or does he also bear responsibility for letting emotions run wild? Perhaps most intriguing is the notion that every new revelation might be part of a larger, tangled web, one in which carefully curated identities collide with very human vulnerabilities. The final truth may never be crystal clear, but one lesson stands out. Illusions come at a steep price. When image matters more than honesty, the fallout can reshape careers, reputations, and relationships in ways no one can predict. Whether you side with those who believe Ryan Reynolds is a controlling, egotistical husband, or those who think Blake Lively orchestrated her own drama, the only certainty is that this story is far from over. As new details emerge, fans and critics alike will continue to question every headline. In the meantime, the myth of the perfect Hollywood couple has been shaken to its core, leaving everyone to wonder what new bombshell might be coming next, and whether Ryan and Blake's carefully guarded empire can withstand the shockwaves. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let us know in the comments which theory you find most convincing. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because in the world of celebrity revelations, you never know what's around the corner.